For many years, I struggled with the idea that I might have a good and a bad side. Although I'm a loving and compassionate person, occasionally, as everybody else, I have moments of anger and disrespectful attitude which I don't consider a part of my personality, but rather momentarily lapses of self-control and logic. I never hurt anyone on purpose in my life, and I feel that in these moments, a different type of energy takes over my mind, and recently I decided to ask machine elves this question, and this is the answer I received from them. You don't have a good or a bad side, you just willingly pick the frequency you want to tap into and connect with. When you're connected to negative frequency, you do bad things. When you're connected to positive frequency, you do good things. You choose the frequency. So, if you ever struggle with your own morality and the principles that guide you through life, remember that they are your conscious decisions. Many people don't have the ability to make that choice, but because you have the 434 knowledge, you have the luxury of controlling your frequency and choosing the attitude you want to guide you through life. It is important that you remember about this, as in this video I will address the issue of dealing with those who let low frequency affect them and others around them. I appreciate you watching the videos and I want to thank you for it, but I know you don't want my thanks. Like me, you want the forces of good to take over this world, and that's what I'm working on. I want to ask you to help me with this by supporting 434 through joining Patreon or Subscribestar, or by donating through PayPal, cryptocurrencies, or bank transfer. Remember to leave your email address at news.b434.com to be up to date with the latest 434 information. All links on the screen and in the video description. I discussed with machine elves the concept of evil many times, and a year ago I made a video where I included their definition of evil from their perspective. A lot has happened since that video, and I think that we need to talk now about the human concept of evil. The entities explain their view and their understanding of low frequency in general, but back then they didn't explain the implications of the existence of evil in our reality. So recently I decided to continue my conversation with them, and I asked them about the purpose of earthly evil and low frequency people in our lives, and this is what they told me. Evil people are sent to your life in this simulation so that you can grow and discover your true potential. That's the purpose of existence of evil people in this simulation. You have to realize what you are, and you have to become what you're supposed to become in this training arena. In another message they addressed what they call the concept of contrast. They said, the difficulty of this reality is for you to learn to generate love despite obstacles. And you do this through experiencing the adversities and seeing the contrast. The presence of contrast allows you to isolate love, and you should be all aiming for it. As you can see, what we call evil very often will be an important element of fulfilling our purpose here. In an older message I was told that Earth is not a cruel place. It is made of other people's learning experiences. It is neither good nor bad. Your own experiences will provide you with the knowledge that will help you with your development. It is not about negative experiences, but a part of the understanding and learning process. I want you to remember that in the same way as evil or low-frequency people exist in this reality, in the same way there are evil and low-frequency entities in other dimensions. If high-frequency or God exists, that means that low-frequency energy, or as we call it, devil, might exist too. And you need to be aware of its existence and the potential ability for it to cross the interdimensional barrier, as the eternal battle of forces of good and evil is a necessary part of this reality, and you need to understand which side you are on. In the last few years, we've seen great progress in the global awakening process. We're collectively starting to vibrate at higher frequency, affecting this reality and others in it. It's a beautiful thing to see everyone grow and become stronger. Something else has been happening at the same time. It seems that the more we become united and the closer we get to shifting the collective consciousness, the more pushback we experience from low-frequency individuals who want to control us. It seems we are getting to a deciding moment in which you will need to take a stand. Your freedom is an asset for others, and you always have to defend it, as low-frequency energy people want to control you. And as their evil agenda and their efforts to fight us are ramping up, the less they care about hiding now. Bankers, politicians, the globalists, status quo, the old guard, and the mainstream media, we know who they are now. They're running out of ammunition, and they're starting to deploy the dirtiest tricks in the book, unmasking themselves in the process and exposing their plans. We all see now who's pulling the strings behind the curtain. But because we had been asleep for so long, the power structure the Earth is entangled in reaches so many areas of our lives that it's sometimes difficult to identify low-frequency energy that wants our freedom. I want all of you to understand not only how to be prepared to defend yourself, but also I want you to be able to easily identify those who don't want you to grow and thrive. The structure of evil in this reality is clearly visible. You will see it in the big difference between us and their purposes and the methods they use to achieve their anti-human goals. The workers of light and other people like you and me will seek to develop and encourage the growth and maturity of others so that one day we can all become united, gaining more power to uplift others. It's a mindset of growth, unity, and support. Contrary to this noble goal, the forces of darkness want to push everyone down, preventing them from maturing and becoming equals, while effectively elevating themselves above others. Low frequency operates in the divide and conquer mode and manufactures battles of love and ego, freedom and slavery, wisdom and misinformation, honesty and deception. Evil is easily recognized because it's weak and it has to hide itself behind fake goodness. Evil always needs auxiliary power to support itself. It has a limited lifespan as its energy is borrowed from the outside. High-frequency energy, on the other hand, has intrinsic power. It doesn't need any support structures because good manifests without power. People like us don't need to become CEOs, politicians, or cult leaders. We direct our efforts towards the divine goal of helping others. And because of the spontaneous and organic nature of a structure, we don't feel the need to get organized. And this is what makes our fight with evil so difficult. Because of its weakness, evil needs to be well organized. It still exists because it's a united minority acting against an organized majority. And that's definitely something that needs to change, and I talked about this in detail in my previous video called You Have Powers. Link is in the video description and on your screen now in the right upper corner. I highly recommend you watch it. Of course, one of the biggest organized structures of low-frequency individuals is the government. This structure exists as a projection of our minds. In a paradoxical twist, what gave birth to them is actually what they perpetually use to divide and control us. We gave them power voluntarily, and we're now being controlled because we believe in the existence of an enemy. They're the unnecessary evil of our social structures, and ironically, we gave them power because their job is supposed to punish evil and fight that enemy that they very often create themselves. Unfortunately, this political organism turned into a destruction machine that is stopping us from dealing with the most important issues concerning all of us. The government today is nothing but mafia. Politicians don't produce anything and they have no unique talents, and they should have no place in our future. They're mainly preoccupied with self-preservation, making false promises, and stealing, redistributing, and auctioning assets that we create throughout our lives. We have the technology now. We don't need them, and we should make them disappear as soon as possible. The next low-frequency structure that prevails in our lives is a corporation. And if you're a citizen of one of the Anglo-Saxon countries, what you probably don't know is that unwillingly, you're an employee of one of the oldest and biggest corporations on Earth, but that's a subject for another video. Corporations replaced religion, small businesses, and even politics these days. Corporations are normally not subject to anyone's control, as it is an autonomous technological form that's only purpose is to gain profits at any cost. If you were to create a psychological profile of a corporation, it would be that of a typical psychopath. It doesn't take into account other people's feelings, it disregards the safety of others, it lies and deceives without guilt, it doesn't respect norms and regulations, and it can't maintain a meaningful relationship. In fact, it has been proven that 1 in 5 American CEOs has those psychopathic traits. And the structure that is closest to us in our everyday life is obviously the social structure that can be a source of low-frequency individuals. Society is divided into people like us, who are trying to self-actualize and discover the truth. And of course, there's the rest of those who are sacrificing their identity in the process of conforming to the collective. And the history of humankind is made of the struggle between these two groups. Whoever can supply the masses with the best illusion becomes their master. Whoever wants to take them out of their illusion becomes their enemy. But these low-frequency structures combined are not as dangerous as the people who tolerate or encourage evil. They silently allow for the worst crimes to be committed only because they're too scared to face their inner selves. Evil spreads through vacuum, through lack of resistance, by the moral failure of respecting the most basic human principles. There are only two methods by which people can deal with one another, through violence or through logic. Because logic is currently off the table, they need to resort to force. Look at the dysfunctional world they created for us, because it's the reflection of their mindset and who they are. Keep in mind that these at the top set the tone for everything that is happening in their structure below. They're mobsters operating through intimidation, prosecution, and violence. They have destroyed our environment, blaming us for that. They have been waging wars pretending they're on our behalf. They continue to take away from us our health, our energy, our time with our families, our blood, sweat, and tears. They created a fake world for you where everything is a lie and where you're treated like a fool. They engineered generations of divided, self-hating victims, making us privates in the army against ourselves. They banned psychedelics for you not to be able to heal yourself and discover the truth, while they are the real drug dealers. In the war for your mind, they censor 434 and other spiritual creators. They've grown too powerful and have gone too far, and it's time we take the power back. Enough is enough. Your freedom is your right given to you by the energy that created you. You have to defend it, and you can't let anyone take it away from you. But because it is only people like you and me who understand the value of liberty, we have to fight not only for our freedom, but also for the freedom of others. Machine Elves made it clear that my job is to start the loving chain reaction of spreading the outer dimensional love messages that will allow the entities to do their job here of accessing the minds of 7 million people. I was told that 434 is a slow process, but I can already see the ripple effects. It is spreading and it's working. 434 is your responsibility too. The battle of low and high frequency in you and in the human world is real, and you are part of it as much as I am. There's a reason that those in power are so afraid of you thinking for yourself. They know that your healthy mind is superior to theirs, both morally and spiritually, and that's why they try to cripple you and limit your access to information and your ability to express freely your opinions. An individual with a little knowledge is dangerous to society, but by having a lot of knowledge, you are indefinitely more dangerous to the establishment. And they know that when we're all educated, virtuous, and incorruptible, their house of cards will crumble and they will disintegrate under the weight of their own demoralization. They know that evil cannot operate upon your true self, and it can't change its nature. They know that the spiritual leaders have done more to benefit humanity than any scientist, and they know that if we were all to act in the spirit of those divine values, no evil would exist on earth. Because you fight evil by cutting off its energy source, by shifting your focus and your energy to that which is good and noble. We know how deception works. We've been experiencing it for too long. It will end when we don't allow a few crooked individuals to rule over us all. They fear us, our high-frequency existence, and our awakening. We are the world, not them. They're just a few people depending and capitalizing on our ignorance. That's why they want everybody to be asleep. They are the parasites, and we own our lives, our lands, our seas and oceans, our time and energy, our minds, our families, and our futures. They are your divine properties, and no one has the right to take them away from you. It doesn't matter whether you want to take part in the battle of forces of good and evil or whether you want to stay neutral. It is a choice of high and low frequency that will be forced upon you by those in power and the circumstances they create. But your job is easy, as, unlike for them, you don't need any means to be powerful. Good manifests without power. We're all here on the same mission, no matter if you're a homeless person or a billionaire. We're all equipped in the same tools to do either good or bad, and it's only up to us what we do with our lives. You can be out in the streets and help others, or you can be a billionaire your whole life and not have a slightest idea what to do with your life. It doesn't matter what nationality, position, background, or wealth you have. All that matters is what you do with your tools and how you spend your life. You are powerful, and the energy wants and needs you to act on it. Have hope and let the energy take care of the laws and the structure that regulates the flow of low and high frequency. This reality is governed by interdimensional laws visible to those who are open to themselves. Remember that all good in this reality comes from the energy, and all evil comes from low-frequency humans, and the energy doesn't want you to concentrate on it. It wants you to concentrate on others and wants you to love others so that the energy can flow through you and so that it can reveal itself to the outside world through this divine emotion. The line dividing good and evil does not go through political chambers, social structures, or TV studios. It runs through human hearts, mine and yours. Places like heaven and hell do not refer to physical locations, but to spiritual places in your mind. And it's this moral internal integrity that will decide about the outcome of our existence here. Evil can deceive you, but it cannot corrupt the universal laws that govern this and other realities, laws with which you can free yourself from external control. I don't know where this battle will take us, but I know where we can go together. It's important that you do your part in helping to change the world for better. In the near future, you will need the 44 values more than ever. Remember that in times of change, high-frequency, open-minded individuals inherit everything around them. But those who close themselves off in low-frequency world of their own imagination will be left behind to deal with crumbles of reality that no longer exists. You can watch an additional video on this subject by going to Peter Hedron channel. There's a continuation video on social disobedience for you to watch. The link is on your screen now and in the video description. Remember to support each other and those around you who do the spiritual work, raising everybody's frequency. Support 434 through methods listed on the screen and the links listed in the video description. It's crucial for you to share this video with others so that they understand the power of high frequency in them. Visit the websites of the artist and the musician I featured in this video. Remember about b434.com and join 434's social media on YouTube, Facebook, BitChute, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and VK. All links